choral music is about we. It's about us. It's about the collective utterance of people yearning for justice, yearning for truth, trying to figure out what love is, trying to make sense of a very confusing world.
The founding, it came about, at least for me, through friends, musical friends, who knew that this group was being formed. And then, of course, when I found out that Ted Morrison was the conductor, I was really, really interested. There was an audition.
The auditions were extremely rigorous, and there were tons of great singers in Baltimore at the time. And so I was able to put together a chorus, and when I walked into the room for the first rehearsal, I expected it to be great, and it was.
It was so much far above anything else that I'd ever experienced it. I was very impressed, and I immediately started to work hard, get some voice lessons, learn the music. I carried music around with me with my job. At lunch break, I would have some music to stick my nose in and try to learn it. The very first concert we did in June of '67 was Bach's St. John Passion.
We had to work very hard to fill Kraushaar Auditorium. I believe that the Bach St. John Passion, which we started with, had about 750, and that hall holds 1,000. But it looked pretty good from the stage.
When it was finished, I felt like the music, the singing, the vocal, just floated up and out the roof of the Kraushaar Auditorium. Nobody moved. The soloist didn't move. I mean, it was like we were all like frozen in spot for maybe 15 seconds. I mean, it was, or maybe longer. It was wonderful. And that, of course, just incentivized us, because when we started that first concert, we didn't know who we were.
One of our soloists, tenor soloists, a guy named Charles Bressler, who was really a leading tenor oratorio soloist. And after the concert, we had a little party, and Charles was there, and he came up to me. And he said, Ronnie, he said, you know, this is a wonderful chorus. You know, don't let it die. You know, here we are 50 years later from where we began. And you know, we're going like gangbusters, and we want to keep that momentum going.
One of the great things about the early part of the Choral Arts Society was working with terrific local people like Clinton Arrowood. Clinton was a person who did fantastic pictures of animals in Baroque costumes playing musical instruments. Clinton himself was a terrific flutist. And so I wanted to dress up and put a little more spice in the programs. For Choral Arts, the printed programs. And I asked Clinton to do a program cover for us and a poster, which he did. And it was fantastic, and people reacted wonderfully to it, so we started doing it all the time.
Back in 1975, Norman Scribner, who was the founder and director of the Washington Choral Arts Society and a good friend of Ted Morrison's, was commissioned to write a Christmas piece for the choral arts.
And so I commissioned his work called The Nativity for Baltimore. And he commissioned a work of mine, also a Christmas piece, called Unto Us a Child is Born, which the Choral Arts Society of Washington premiered in the Kennedy Center. There was a very deep relationship between the two of us, but I think it extended out to the two choral societies or choral arts societies.
Well, let me tell you about when Tom took over. Because Theo Morrison announced that he was resigning, and everybody said, oh my God, you know, Theo is choral arts, how will we survive?
Tom Hall came at, I think, age 27, just about the same age that Ted Morrison was when he started with us. We had 5 candidates, and he's the only one that came with a professional layout of the scoring. We asked him to score a Brahms Requiem, orchestrate it, and how much it would cost. We had a breakfast meeting, I'll never forget, we had a breakfast meeting over in Cross Keys, and he was all prepared like very professional.
His real chore was to go to the chorus rehearsal and show them what he could do, which he did. And it was really delightful. And there was really no question that he was going to be the guy. The rehearsals often start with a standing and turning to the left or turning to the right and having your shoulders rubbed by the person next to you. Very cool relaxation.
We begin every rehearsal with backdrops that over the years many people have met and fallen in love because of the backdrops.
Tom is a master at this. When you can get 120 people of incredibly varied backgrounds to sing together and bring fabulous, fabulous emotion to a piece of music, and you're part of that, I don't know how it gets any better.
It can take you somewhere where you cannot get by yourself, and you focus on nothing but what you're singing and the intent of who wrote it and the intent of the person who's directing you.
There have been many, many times when I have found it hard to get through a piece of music because it's really hard to sing when you're crying. And that's how it affects me sometimes, a lot of times.
Oftentimes it's a religious experience being here. Oftentimes it's a comedy. We laugh as much as we sing.
Hi, I'm Tom Hall, Baltimore Choral Arts Society, here to talk to you about health, fitness, and choral music. One viewer writes, "Dear Tom, I'm careful about my diet and I exercise daily, but should I attend concerts of the Baltimore Choral Arts Society? As a matter of fact, you should. So for all your choral music needs, call the Baltimore Choral Arts Society at 523-7070.
The way they connect with the community. I mean, you can see the subscription concerts, but there's so much more in terms of the work they're doing in the school system, in community centers, in almost every setting you can imagine. Their ability to convene and perform and to improve the lives and the experience of people in Baltimore is really, really important. They are punching so far above their weight in terms of their impact in Baltimore.
That's what's special about it, that I can't imagine a part of the community that Choral Arts hasn't touched at this point.
It's something that we've been very committed to, particularly the work with education and the work with bringing younger audiences and younger kids into a concert hall experience and having them understand the great beauties and joys of classical choral music.
Having these mentors is very important in the community for any young person who wants to study music seriously.
In 1987, we went to the coast of Spain and we did several concerts in Marbella and Cadiz and other cities along the beautiful seacoast of Spain. We went to France a few years ago and did concerts not only in Paris but in some of the surrounding districts in France. Had a good time working with many of the other vocal ensembles that have achieved a good deal of international acclaim. We did concerts with the King Singers from London. We did concerts with Chanticleer from San Francisco. We've worked with Sweet Honey and the Rock. I was very, very blessed to have developed a very close friendship with Dave Brubeck, the great jazz master. He would send me his choral pieces and they were terrific. We had great, great times with the Choral Arts Chorus and Orchestra.
To develop new music. That's an important part of our organization. I think it's something that keeps us vital. I think it's something that keeps our singers interested, and it's something that makes us unique.
It's always wonderful and important to hear what the next generation of composers are writing.
We are committed to new music, and nobody around does that and sings at such a high level of performance standards.
We sing a lot of songs that range from, Mozart down to spirituals. So we try and encompass every aspect of the city, and I think that's really very, very important.
We are old and young. We are straight and gay. We are black and white. We are professional and student. We are people from all walks of life. We live in different places. We know different people. We come from different backgrounds. And all of us put our own individual experience to the very focused purpose of making beautiful art. But it's the experience and the love that we bring, each of us individually, that when we put it all together collectively produces a great and wonderful thing.
I think people recognize excellence, and they recognize when something is really, really special. I don't know how many concerts I've attended at Choral Arts where people end up giving them a standing ovation at the end of the concert, and you don't always see that.
There is this unique energy between the chorus, its artistic director, and the audience. And on those occasions, when it all works right, and it almost always does, there is great magic in that room.
Our audiences are the linchpin that keeps all of us together. They're the reasons that we're doing all that we're doing. They are loyal, they are enthusiastic, they are open-minded, they are wonderful. It's been a great privilege, and I think things will continue to go beautifully because we're so well positioned for the next 50 years.